1300 hours Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister will launch the country's first ever national security policy on Friday. Pakistan has urged the international community to consider Afghanistan's economic needs. North Korea has conducted a third hypersonic missile test. The World Health Organization says more than half of the people in Europe are expected to catch Omicron by March. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan will launch the country's first ever national security policy on Friday. According to official sources, the original version of the policy will remain classified, but a public version of the document will be released. The policy provides an overall direction about the national security, focusing on increasing national resource supply to strengthen Pakistan's traditional and non-traditional security. The sources said the National Security Policy is a comprehensive document prepared with input from relevant federal departments, provincial governments and experts. The policy gives guidelines for economic, military and human security. It also dilates upon hybrid warfare, internal security and foreign policy. The Interior Ministry has introduced an elaborate mechanism to facilitate relief activities of international non-governmental organizations in Afghanistan. This was disclosed during a meeting of the Afghan Interministerial Coordination Cell chaired by the National Security Advisor Dr. Moeed Yusuf in Islamabad. The meeting was informed that new international NGOs and those directly registered will benefit from this mechanism. The National Security Advisor appreciated the initiative and said it would immensely help in humanitarian assistance efforts for the people of Afghanistan. The National Assembly resumed its session at the Parliament House in Islamabad today with the Deputy Speaker Qasim Khan Suri in the chair. The United Nations and partners launched the largest ever country-specific appeal for Afghanistan as Pakistan called for revival of banking systems in the war-torn country, addressing a special session to mark the launching of the $5 billion appeal. Pakistan's ambassador at the United Nations Mission, Ambassador Khalilur Rahman Hashmi, in Geneva urged the international community to consider Afghanistan's economic needs. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir People's Democratic Party, President Mahbooba Mufti has vowed to continue her struggle for the restoration of Article 370 and a final settlement of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute. Talking to the media in Srinagar, she said, "We will continue our struggle to restore our identity and settlement of the Kashmir issue, for which thousands of people have laid down their lives. Thousands of children became orphans and women became widows." The Foreign Minister of France, Jean-Yves Le Drian, has said no agreement is likely within the realistic time frame of Iran nuclear talks. Addressing the French Parliament, he said international negotiations on Iran's nuclear activities are proceeding so slowly that they are unlikely to lead to any agreement within a realistic time frame. He said there is a vital urgency on the issue because of Iran's own actions and the trajectory of its nuclear program. The United Nations Human Rights Office has called for prompt, independent and impartial investigation into the deadly crackdown by Kazakhstan's authorities on protests that erupted in the country on the 2nd of January over rising fuel prices. The United Nations Human Rights spokeswoman Liz Throssell says her agency has not been able to verify an official death toll from the protest. She said under the international law, people have the right to protest peacefully and the right to express their opinions, and they should not be detained simply for voicing their opinions. North Korea says it has conducted another hypersonic missile test under the watch of its leader Kim Jong-un. The state media said the missile fired on Tuesday had successfully made a turn before hitting its target in the sea some 1,000 kilometers away. It marks North Korea's third reported test of a hypersonic missile, which can avoid detection for longer than ballistic missiles. The World Health Organization says more than half of the people in Europe are expected to catch Omicron by March this year. This has been stated by the Regional Director for World Health Organization's European Office, Hans Kluge, in Copenhagen. He said highly transmissible variant has ripped through countries at breakneck pace, forcing governments to impose fresh measures and scramble to roll out vaccine booster shots. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News.